Hello. So tired and so alone. Uh, I just came out. Oh, I came out of watching Desolation of Smaug earlier. Had to take sort of a brief nap and get some AM/PM Burger King just to sort of stay awake. It's been a long week and a long day and a long movie. And I had to see this basically solo because Jeremy texted me at the last minute and he had other work stuff to do. Corey had a last minute family emergency. Hope that's it. Hope he's doing okay, by the way. And Matt has another kind of work commitment. So I'm here solo for the latest Hobbit movie. Kind of fun having these back again. Again, I guess before we start talking about Desolation of Smaug, I guess we should talk about. I guess I should sort of explain where I'm coming from after Unexpected Journey. Now, a lot of people came out of Unexpected Journey, sort of complaining about the uneven pacing, all the filler songs, and yeah. I kind of liked Unexpected Journey probably more than most people. I thought of course it was great to go back to Middle Earth. I actually enjoyed the more slower character sort of episodic journey, events thing structure they had going for it. That kind of made it feel more like this weird journey and to spend time with these characters. There's a more relaxed sound to it. But Martin Freeman I thought he was good in it. And of course, any chance to hang out with Gollum more, that's always a blast. And now we come to Desolation of Smaug, which is a movie that wasn't even meant to exist initially. It's just this weird decision that they've really Peter Jackson really wanted to spend more time here, and so we're coming into Desolation of Smaug. Honestly, what I think of it, I liked it about the same. Honestly, maybe a little more, a little less. I'm still kind of trying to process parts of it because it's a long movie. It's so long, especially when you're alone. No, never mind that. But just honestly, this movie has about some. I think it has a bit of a more pacing problem because this is a more action, or because again it's one of those, because it's a case where it basically has no beginning and no end. It's just sort of starts and goes in a direction. It doesn't even start where we left off in Unexpected Journey. It starts with a flashback between Thorin and Gandalf before the first Hobbit, and then it's just sort of, and then even then when you go back to current time, it's sometime after they somehow climbed that giant stone pillar the eagles left them at. Jerks. No Deus Ex Ego here, so if that makes you feel better or something, I don't know. Let's see. That's also this is legitimately a darker movie. This is a different beast entirely. This has a different tone, different story structure to it. You have both new and old characters coming in. You have all these new plot elements coming in to replace and or improve upon stuff that Unexpected Journey left behind, while also setting up for the actual final part of this trilogy of the series that was meant to happen. And it's kind of it's a darker tone, and you take out a lot of the childish humor, which everyone complained about, and honestly, it's sort of an improvement on that too. But it's also it kind of makes it more exhausting to watch. Sorry. There are some damn good stuff in this. Those are mostly my problems with this movie. It's slower, it's darker, it's a little less. It doesn't seem as inviting to be compared to the first movie, but there are some pretty awesome elements in this movie. I mean, it has a fucking dragon. fucking dragon. After 3 years of 3 seasons of sitting through Game of Thrones, waiting for these dragons to do cool stuff all the time, and I think South Park, the Black Friday saga that South Park has been did like for the last few weeks about Butters being like, oh, there's no dragons. I keep waiting for dragons. Oh yes, wait here. It's really cool to see a giant dragon played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Yes, I'm kind of a Benedict myself because he's cool, and he's hearing his voice from like the trailer. Like they improved on the sound mixing they had in the trailer, so he's a bit more, he's so pretty. You can understand him though. Like there were moments where like he has the gravel voice, not because like he's intentionally doing that, but it's because he's a fucking dragon and he's really cool. Cool. He's like really like the scale you want a dragon to be. He's epic. Like most of the time for when he's on screen, you can barely comprehend his size. It's super cool. Cool, and Benedict Cumberbatch, he's great at it. He's having a ton of fun. He's being this sort of cocky dragon. He's like, I am fire, or I am death. And he is having a ball. Also cool. I think the visuals in this movie are much better, or much more interesting, or much more cool. Like Peter Jackson, he's like this movie, like it's comedy, like this darker, more pseudo horror type tone. It's kind of is like sort of emulating Empire Strikes Back in a way, where it's basically like it starts sort of mid story and it ends in this cliffhanger where like the heroes are in an impossible situation, and like but there's a bit of an arc ultimately to it that like it feels like it still feels kind of complete in its own way. But back to the pseudo horror. I'm not sure how many people know this, but Peter Jackson started off as sort of this Sam Raimi-esque cheapish horror / comedy director, and he does great. And that leads to a lot of like these like weird angles or twisted, or like you go to these like forests or these ruins, and they have all these like gothic angles and Dutch angles and all these thorns and like cool like sharp angles that look really pretty and really distinctive from anything in the other from the straying back to like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it's really pretty interesting to look at. And also, it's also a different feel to it because like it's actually it's a bit frightening in its own way. It's actually kind of scary from time to time. Like the movie starts off basically with it's them running from the orcs in from the last movie, and then them being hunted down by basically a shapeshifter, which was in this movie more. He's probably in the extended edition. I mean, I've been trying to sit through this. Yeah. And then it goes into more of to like this web forest full with spiders, and even spiders, they have like these sort of, it's not exactly bickering, but it is, but like it's not like intrusive at all. It's just it's a little funny in its own way. You have Gandalf trying to discover the mystery of the necromancer, which spoilers, it's Saruman. Duh. What else? When you go when you actually finally get into the Dwarven Kingdom, it's dark. It's all these massive sizes, and you have little Bilbo in the middle of that. It just feels like this sort of tight prison thing that makes it really stressful, kind of claustrophobic in a way. Hey. Also, there's a lot of cool action scenes in this movie, much more so than the first one. one. I mean, it starts off running with the action stuff going on and on and on. It starts with them running against like this shape shifting bear, as them running from being captured by these spiders. It has Legolas come back. Orlando Bloom. He gets like and starring credit at the very end, which like this is the only universe or film series where you ever see Orlando Bloom get the end credit. He's cool in this movie too. He's a bit of a wet blanket, but he does badass. He does like the usual like unstoppable Legolas thing from time to time. All he basically does is stab, shoot, and decapitate orcs. Like in almost every scene he's in, it's kind of and it's almost always badass. Yes, there's only like, plus this movie actually has a moment where like, even though this movie has a moment where Legolas gets beaten down and starts having a nosebleed, and he has this like sort of shocked look that like even like I was having. It's like he could bleed, but he's Legolas. He's impossible to like kill, to damage at all. Oh, Evangeline Lilly. She's actually pretty cool. They made up her entire character, and she has this weird love affair or attraction with one of the dwarves, which are well, honestly, the dwarves here are still kind of as underdeveloped. Actually, I think they're a little less developed, only because like they've been established in the first movie, and here like they're just given very little to do, like in terms of personal level. Though, but she was pretty cool. I think her character's a bit inconsistently handled, but I think she wasn't pleasant. She added something pleasant and nice to the movie. Also, she was pretty badass. Martin Freeman. A lot of reviews have saying he's better in this movie, and I think relatively he is. He like it shows like the contrast. There's a good contrast between like him being a normal hobbit, but him also changing and developing as a stronger, more intelligent like burglar character, both as like because of him going through his journey, but also because of the dark influence of the ring. And there's like only a moment in the movie where like they play with that, and there's a lot of moments in the movie. There's like most of what Bilbo does in this movie is like, well, he's owning the ring. He has to like go into through the shadow realm type thing. He's good in it, but honestly, he's not a. I think he's given less to do in this movie, and he doesn't have as many like chances to be as like funny as Martin Freeman usually is. Honestly, oh man, like in terms of like, oh man from World's End, I think that's still my favorite. One of my favorite Martin Freeman roles than what he has done as Bilbo. Also, there's a lot of cool. Again, back to the action. There's a ton of good scenes in this movie. Like it doesn't take long for you to get to the big bear chase scene in the movie. That's kind of like the bear chase scene in this movie. That was really funny. It was both funny. It was colorful, and it was really cleverly orchestrated. There's a lot of elements going on. You have the dwarves, and then you have dwarves going down the river, but also having to fight off the orcs. But you also have Legolas and Talandriel running in to try to stop catching up with them. Then there's this great shot where basically one of the dwarves, like their barrel gets knocked to the side, and it keeps rolling and jumping around, and it's an amazing tracking shot. The honestly, once like Smaug comes in the screen, like at least 2 or hour like 2 or like an hour and 40 minute in, that movie truly really comes to life. It's just big. It's fun. It's kind of funny. It's tense. It's just grand. It's visually impressive. There's a lot of elements going on. It's really cool. It's cool looking, and ends on this great cliffhanger that makes 2014 really hard to wait for. So, honestly, I don't want to like this. I'm trying to keep these we're trying to keep these videos shorter for you YouTube audience. And thank you for watching us more and more now. So. Final thoughts. Destination of Smaug. to me, at least to me, it's a mix of like improvements and negatives coming from Unexpected Journey. I think it has a tougher pacing, less balance between the new having to juggle between uh, characterizing both the new and the old characters coming into coming into this entry, and it has kind of a more laborious tone that makes it feel a bit exhausting to go through. That said, I think it does a better job of holding on to that tone it's aiming for. Uh, all the action stuff is pretty awesome. It has some truly gorgeous cinematography and art direction. I mean, there's a lot of more scenery porn moments of Peter Jackson showing off New Zealand, which it's gorgeous, even though to me the types of geography is confusing, and this has big giant moments. I mean, fucking dragon. It's great. It's awesome, and it's if you saw the Hobbit, if you saw the first one, you're obviously gonna see it. For skeptics out there, I think it's still worth checking out for sure. And I'll be back soon with the first entry in our new sub series Trailer Talk. Thanks for watching.